Ghostbear Flashstorm finally has a release date. Hi friends, I'm TTB, welcome back to Mech5 Clans News. Let's talk about all the new intel that dropped on us just this day. And hey guys, there's a lot to talk about, so strap in, sit back, relax, and we will cover everything new on the new DLC. So, first things first. PGI has given us the release date for the new story DLC for Mech5 Clans. It's called Ghostbear Flashstorm. I did a preview on that thing already. We'll link the video in the video description below. The release date is going to be May 7th if you are on PDT, or it's going to be May 8th midnight if you are on UTC. So May 7th for North America, May 8th midnight for Europe. Once again, if you're interested in that, might want to wishlist this on Steam. There might also be like a wishlist campaign going on for this, that way you get some goodies in Mechwarrior Online for it, so have a look on the MWO page for that. Originally they projected the release date to fall inside of April, but they wanted to give themselves a little bit more time. So basically they said, you know what, we're basically there but we're not quite there, so let's go ahead and make sure we get everything locked down and in as good a state as possible. So they pushed the beginning to the first week of May, which I think that is absolutely fine to do. In fact, that's way better than releasing something that is unfinished. PJ also says the entire team is grateful to the fan response to the announcement and looking forward to watching us play and hearing our feedback. And of course, they shall get that. If everything goes as it always goes, I shall get a review copy from PGI, and of course we will jump into the new DLC, test it out, and also test out the co-op version of that as well. Now, with the new DLC, there will also be a free update for everybody that owns Mech5 Clans, regardless of whether you buy the DLC or not. And there will be a couple of free updates. They didn't give details the last time they announced the new DLC, but now they give details. And on May 8th, they will be delivering the second free update to Mech5 Clans, featuring a Mech Lab usability overhaul. The flow and of the UI of the Mech Lab has been revised to make omnipod swaps and unlocks much more intuitive, because that was a little bit of a hassle. There was a weird system. A lot of people didn't even understand that you could actually swap out omnipods, and now they've changed that so players can clearly see which omnipod sets are available, and they can mix and match omnipod components to create all manner of custom builds. It's also easy to save out custom presets and restore them in a few clicks. That is great. Improving on that system is gonna make it so that you have a much easier time trying out new builds, saving your builds, and getting them back loaded again. I wonder if there's also going to be an ability to share builds, like it is in Mechwarrior Online, where you just click on export, you get that like little sequence of numbers and letters, and you can use it to just share builds. So if we could have that for the Mech Lab and Mech5 Clans, that would be cool. They also added a new context menu that allows faster direct access to all areas of the Mech Lab, such as camouflage customization, weapon groups, or mech details. Yeah, that's very good, because once again, that was a little bit hidden. You had to click a couple of buttons, so if you can get there faster, even nicer. Also, we'll be able to see more details such as stat changes for engine heatsinks. That is very important because, of course, engines do not have the same amount of heatsinks. I don't know if you can actually put engine heatsinks into the engines, or if the engines are going to come with maxed out heatsinks. I think they're going to come with maxed out heatsinks, in my opinion, and that would mean, for example, an XL300 engine on the Clans is going to have 2 internal heatsinks, whereas an XL400 would have 6, right? So, good to see that these stat changes will be reflected in the mech stats. Now you can see what changes. Okay. Progression and balance pass. We've rebalanced many of the weapons to make all the different builds more appealing and viable. Yeah, that is one piece of criticism that I voiced towards you guys and towards PGI a couple of times, where I said that laser weapons feel really good, but the missile weapons and the ballistic weapons seem to not be on the same power level, and I asked them to adjust that. And apparently, we're getting exactly that. Russ was mentioning on Twitter a couple of days ago that the DLC will be lengthy, about 1/3 of the length of the main campaign, and I asked him directly, can we expect weapon rebalance changes? For example, buffing ballistic and missile weapons, the energy weapons seem fine. And Russ said, yep, that weapon rebalance is in test, so I'm really glad to see that it is making it into the patch. I would love to see a detailed list of what gets changed. That would be really cool if you could get like a, I don't know, a spreadsheet or just a list of what you guys changed. BGR, that would be really nice to see, because that could give people an idea of what they can expect. I'm really hoping that it is a buff for ballistics and missiles, like I said, and I'm really hoping they didn't touch energy weapons or nerf them. That would suck, because especially if you're playing on the higher difficulties, you need all the firepower you can get, and it would be really sad to see the firepower of energy going down now. So I hope it is a buff for the stuff that needed it, and not a nerf for stuff that didn't need nerfing. So we'll see about that. Like I said, we don't know right now. There is no list so far, but maybe that is still ongoing, and that's why I haven't posted it yet. They've also adjusted the Smoke Jaguar story progression to incorporate some of the Omnipod and Mech unlocks from Trials of War to better positions in the progression. Next up are improvements to the Battlegrid system. Battlegrid, of course, being the map where you issue commands to your starmates. Battlegrid operates in pause mode in single player now. That basically allows you time to administer more complex queued commands, and make sure that you have some time to think about which targets, for example, you want to focus, where you want to move your mechs, for example, if you want to move a sniper or alarm support mech to a elevated position where they have a better view of the battlefield. This pause mode can be toggled to real time with a button press, so full freedom right here, you decide how you want to play it. Then we have more gamepad options now. The control options for the gamepad have been updated with a Mercenaries-like control scheme that no longer requires the use of a weapon toggle, and that will appear in the gamepad options as alt config 3. So for everybody that's playing with a gamepad, high consoleros, you will have the Mercenaries-like control scheme available to you now, and there's also going to be a bunch more rebindable buttons to the custom layout, so you can remap more things, like the mask to a face button. Very nice. Trials of War is now fully integrated. Trials of War will no longer be treated as a free DLC, and it is full integrated into the game for all players to enjoy, so you don't have to download it as a DLC or whatnot. The Trials of War is just going to be part of the base game now. Dominion mode has been added to Arena. Get the highest score before the time expires by capturing and holding the active capture point. Scannable stations can launch artillery strikes against the active capture point, so if you wanna try out your hands against your friends in multiplayer, then you can also try the new Dominion mode now. And we will also get 2 new Horde mode maps, Starport and Townships. They will have light, medium, heavy, and assault challenges, and those maps, as I saw, I believe on Twitter, are also going to change the objectives a little bit and the way or the areas where enemies approach, depending on how that whole Horde mode goes. A friendly fire option has been added to the game. Starmates do not cause friendly fire, but they have added an option that disables player-driven damage to friendlies. So if you want to add a little bit of extra challenge to your game, you can add friendly fire damage for yourself to your starmates. Performance and stability also got some updates. They have improved the performance and stability with many small bug fixes and optimizations. And also, I see down here in the graphics options, they have added support for FSR 3.1, DLSS 4, and Intel XeSS. So those two together should hopefully increase performance quite a bit, because the base performance of the game was quite bad in terms of frames per second delivered. There's also a comms update. The pilots now all have fully animated faces instead of helmets with mouth coverings. The audio has received an update as well. They re-recorded and upgraded some of the banter for Mia, Samantha, and Alexander, and some additional SFX and adjusted mix was added. The digital extras will now have full video dioramas of 16 omnimechs in the technical readout section. And then also, this is going to be interesting for all you modders out there, early access modding. The early access editor will be released to a small group of modders to test out the modding pipeline on May 20th. Full mod support is planned to come as soon as the editor is tested and deemed ready for release. Like I said already in the past, in my opinion, modding should have been available from the get-go when the game launched. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, so we're getting it now, so hopefully modders will have some fun coming up with cool and interesting mods for us to try out. There's also another note on the Ghost Bear Flashstorm DLC. There will be some retroactive content added with the Ghost Bear purchase, so as per usual, if you buy the DLC, the content will be added back into the Smoke Jaguar campaign as well, so you will have access to the most mechs there. So if you purchase the Ghost Bear Flashstorm DLC, you will have access to the 4 new omnimechs and the 4 new battlemechs in the Smoke Jaguar campaign, as well as the new battlemech mech lab. And of course, like before, PGI is true to their own word. All core players will be able to access all DLC owned by the host, so everyone gets to play. So if you have a couple of friends and you're playing with them, you only basically need one DLC to play together as a group. And that's it. Stay tuned for more updates. So, a lot of cool stuff in here. For me, the most interesting points were actually the performance updates with DLSS 4. Then, of course, the progression and balance pass that I have been very, very keen on. The overhaul of the Mech Lab. And, of course, finally learning the release date of the game DLC, which is going to happen at May 7th, North America, and May 8th, midnight in the European area. What's your highlight of this news post? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much, supporters. Couldn't do it without you. If you want to join Team TTB, check out the join button right here on YouTube, super thanks button in the comments section, or of course the links to Patreon or the merch store listed in the video description.